What is going on YouTube? Slushy Games playing Stanley Parable episode 15. Tell them what.
So, maybe the last video when we got crushed, maybe that's where the last from the guy
Stanley statue is.
Already this was uncomfortable.
So what
And
Ethan was
Stanley
saying
decided that as
was,
soon as
remember
he
like
found a new
5 or
space
6
he felt
episodes
safe
back I
in,
got smushied by
Stanley picked up the
escaping?
bucket and
I
smiled.
think I have to go in there.
He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley
remember how to
clutched the
get
bucket
there.
tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Yes.
Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Kinda wanna go back down to that area where
Stanley took the door on
that
his
vent
left
was
to
too.
go back, and so the two
And
of
I gotta
them
check in there
detoured through
too.
the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
So, I know, it's okay. Oh, the vent room, is that what you're saying? It's scary in there? No, it's not, that's not new. There will be a reward for fun.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yes. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
More bugs. You gotta go to bed soon there, bud. You already had water. You already had a lot of water.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
What kind of office is this? Whee! Whee! This is where we die, bucket. This is where we die.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Wait, no. Is that it? Oh.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death. It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. If you want to take a pause and read that, yeah.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
I just realized the bucket's gone. Inferno bucket. Replica of the... This is just histories of buckets.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the sacred relations between... Well, I'm not jumping down there just yet. Well, I gotta make sure that the Stanley statue's not in here, bud. That's all. The Stanley, the bubblehead thingies. Oh, I guess I do have to jump down that one. The stress bucket presented with commentary. Oh, okay. Down the well we go. We'll see if that happens. What? I touched the bucket.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler.
Shall I restart the game?
No.
Just let it go?
As leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
What happens if you restart the game, though? I didn't. Alright, guys. That is the ending where you go down the escape route with the bucket. Hope you all enjoyed it.